woof, woof. Big dog.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Coffee Hour. My name is Paul Abernathy. It's a glorious Monday. We made it through the weekend. We got all the honeydew stuff done. Or maybe you just sat around and did nothing. That's okay, too. It doesn't matter, right? Life is short. Enjoy it. But you got to get those goals. You got to achieve those things. We got to keep moving forward. We only have one time on this rock, so we need to do as much as we can. And hopefully you're doing whatever you can to further yourself in your career, and in your family. Again, Coffee Hour is all about talking about all that good stuff, not just the National Electrical Code, but also living vicariously through you. So do me a favor. As always, go ahead in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what you got going on. If you got anything special happening you want to let people know about, maybe you just passed an exam, maybe you're getting ready to take an exam, whatever it may be, we appreciate you joining us here on Coffee Hour. As always, my name is Paul Abernathy, and I am the host of Coffee Hour. Now, if you want to listen to some podcasts, we have some great podcasts, a couple new ones we just dropped over on the, Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, iHeartRadio, whatever you want, but you can also get it through our mobile app. It is free. Just go to our website, which is right here, okay, right there. Go to the website, and in the navigation, you will see where it talks about the mobile app. You don't have to download anything on your phone. All it is a quick link to our web-based mobile app. That way, when we change something, it happens instantly on your phone, okay? Instantly on your phone, all right? Now, also, I'll let you know that we did a webinar this weekend. We tested out the new system. Some people said that you couldn't chat. I don't know, because I did a chat and it worked and it showed up when I asked 2 questions on it. So I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't matter. It's basically was, a webinar on motors, and the webinar was recorded, and it is available over on Fast Track's Tube for all of you subscribers to Fast Track's Tube. And if you're a Fast Track Enhanced student, you also have access for 12 months to Fast Track's Tube. So it should be over there. Okay. Go look for it. Now, it's not going to be under the webinar link because it's already over with. The webinar is already finished. So it's going to be down in the videos. Okay. So don't be clicking the webinar one and say it won't play. It's because it's already gone. The webinar is over with. Okay. Just a reminder. It's also, if you're not a Fast Track's Tube member, or you don't want anything to do with Fast Track's Tube, and you're not a subscriber or a customer or a student of ours over on Fast Track System, this website here, it's still available for purchase over there as well for $39.95. You can get the webinar. It's a 3-hour webinar on motor basics. If you want to get it, it's well worth it. But that's totally up to you. Now, how do you get there on our website? Well, you just go to our website and then click on exam prep, the little box that says exam prep, and you'll see it. It's at the very top, that type of thing. You can find it. It's not a big deal. All right. So welcome today. Today, we're going to talk statistics. I watched a bunch of stuff over the weekend, and I watched an episode with Mike Rowe, and there is no bigger champion for the growth of the trades than Mike Rowe. There isn't. And I think it's so interesting because he did dirty jobs, and he understands the real nuances that we're going to have a shortage of labor. And y'all guys see it. You realize that there's shortages of labor out there. It's hard to find electricians for projects, plumbers, mechanical. And then everybody's worried. I can tell you, in the county that I live in, Louisa County in Virginia, okay? County is fairly rural. They're getting 3 data centers. Now, of course, everybody's crying about the impact of these data centers. Like, what is it going to do? What is it going to do? And I'm like, it's not going to do nothing. But what it's going to do is it's going to create infrastructure. It's going to bring change to a county. Now, if the county administrators weren't smart enough to negotiate with the data centers in order to reduce taxes for us, the people that live in the county, and if they only gave special deals to the data centers to come to the county, then they're idiots. And you shouldn't worry about getting rid of the data centers. You should worry about changing your governmental administration. Because if they were not negotiating with big businesses like Amazon's and Google's to come into the county, they should have charged them a good amount of tax that offsets the locals' tax. If they didn't do that, then they're idiots. They need to be removed from office, okay? Because there's no interest for the county to bring in companies like that are going to have literally millions of dollars of taxes that could be charged on them locally, and they deserve it because they're bringing in a lot of money. They pay their fair share. If they gave them so many incentives that the county doesn't make anything on that deal, that's their stupidity. And so instead of crying about the growth of infrastructure, crying about data centers coming into your area, if your local jurisdictions did not negotiate a good deal for you, the citizen, then do me a favor. Stop crying about the data centers and change coming to your community. Start crying about the people that are running your community. That's when you got to change, okay? So anyway, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Who knows? But that's things to think about, okay? All right. So anyway, today we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the opportunities for electricians. So this is important. If you're somebody out there who are working for somebody and you're thinking, I want to be my own boss. I want to do my own thing, but I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know what can happen. Let me tell you right now, this is me to you, okay? I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. We are sitting right now at the best time ever, okay? I'm not lying. The best time ever. It doesn't matter who's in the administration. It doesn't matter. I can look at the trends. So most of you know that I am a director of technical services also for Encore Wire Corporation. And I also am the one that forecasts and looks at the market, is the growth, and I provide the data for various people to see where our industry is going, things like that, right? And so what I saw is that wire and cable, which is the backbone of construction when it comes to the trades, okay? Because you're not going to have, I could look at lumber, I could look at steel, I could look at a lot of other factors, but what I look at is the wire and cable purchase growth. And I do it through a company called Construct Connect. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at numbers and growth. And I'm looking at from region to region. And what I'm seeing is, are they buying a lot of wire? Now remember, Prismium and Encore Wire is without a doubt the world's largest manufacturer of wire and cable. Southwire's big, Ciro's big, okay? Service Wire's big. But they are not the size of Prismium and Encore Wire now that they're combined. So when I'm looking at modeling forecasts, I'm looking at data across the full spectrum. And what I'm seeing is people are ordering infrastructure, wire, cable. They're ordering medium voltage. They're ordering electronic cables. They're ordering cords. They're ordering stuff. And sometimes these products can take literally 8 to 12 months to get in the pipeline because of the limited resources in producing. So there's a wait time in many cases. What does that tell me? That tells me that we have an infrastructure boom coming. That means that with the onslaught of data centers, people demand better connectability. Businesses demand better internet storage. It's not just the data centers. We're looking at a lot of infrastructure that needs to be changed. Older buildings need to be refitted out. All these type of things, not because they're not functioning properly, because people buy things, insurance companies require things, everybody starts changing things. The fact of the matter is, it's coming. And I think when I watched an episode this weekend, and I can't remember the episode, it was Mike Rowe was talking about it, and he met with the current governmental administration, and they talked about what statistics and what's coming, and Mike got concerned. And the reason that Mike got concerned, and we're talking Mike Rowe here, the reason Mike got concerned is it was very evident that we do not have the manpower, the trades, or even good tradesmen in order to be able to facilitate what's coming. And so my point is, and it's today's topic, and we're going to look at some statistics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about the future, the outlook, the positive thoughts, okay? Negative's fine. But let's see, what do you think's going on? My focus today is that, look, if you're somebody out there who's just working for somebody, and that's fine, we need your labor. But maybe this is an opportunity now for you to think, can I be my own boss? Set yourself a goal. Set yourself a 1-year goal, 2-year goal. So what do you do in that 1 year? What do you do in that 2 year? You start to get together things that you need, equipment that you may need, buy it little at a time, stay very focused. What you do is work on your licenses, work on getting what you need, work on getting pricing for insurances, okay? Try to do all the groundwork. Work on the logo for your company. Think of the name you want to use for your company when it happens, okay? These are all positive things that you're building towards, right? But I am telling you, start getting all of this stuff in place so that when it's time for you to pull the trigger, you can pull the trigger. Start working on your relationships. You don't own the business yet. If you want to be your own boss or you want to start a little service business, maybe you're happy with that, okay? All those type of things. Start doing it now. Don't wait. Start setting a little goal for yourself. Say, okay, I'm going to do this week, I'm going to design a logo for the company that I think the name I want to use, okay? And all these little things, start reaching out and finding out what the cost would be for insurance. Start looking and say, do I have the vehicle I need to do what I want to do? All these things, start creating your own little checklists and don't wait and think, oh, I'll do it all in a rush right in a year from now or 2 years from now. Let me tell you, folks, there is going to be opportunity in the next year, over the next year to year and a half, that's going to literally blow your freaking mind. And we're not just talking working data centers, okay? That's just the example of growth, all right? So don't believe me, okay? Just go look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you'll see what we're talking about, okay? Now, before I do that, I want to do shout outs to everybody. Again, you take the time out of your day to come here. I appreciate you always. Hopefully you got your coffee. I'm all coffeeed out today. I'm doing Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar today, and I'm actually doing the cream soda version of that. So I'm a Diet Pepsi guy, but I do like my Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar cream soda version, okay? That's just me, okay? All right, so let's see here, but I'm all coffeeed out. I've had a bunch. I've been up early this morning. That's why y'all see that I'm all wired up, okay? Because I got my coffee in me. What's that? Now, let's see. Good morning, Paul. Glad to have you here. Code Nerds coming to us from Houston. Appreciate you, Paul. There we go. Marlon, glad to have you here. He's welcoming all the nerds to the show. Good morning. And we say that with total affection, okay? Some people say, I ain't no code nerd. Dude, yes, you are. If you're here, you're a code nerd. You know you are, even though we don't always talk about code. What's up, David? David, you're going to see a massive influx of permitting and reviews. It's coming, baby. We are going to see some massive things happen over the next year. The economy is getting booming. It's right. I look for an interest rate drop in the next 6 months. And if the interest rate drops, people are going to start buying. And here's the thing. People are going to start buying homes. The older homes, people are going to start buying them. They're going to be affordable. And then people are going to want to do renovations. They're going to want to do upgrades. They're going to change things. And electricians are going to be in massive demand. Framers, builders, roofers, everybody that works with these, right? That don't have anything to do with AI or artificial intelligence. They're not taking your job. They're not going to take a plumber. They're not going to take an electrician. They're not going to take a mechanical HVAC guy, which, by the way, I think is one of those things that I tell people all the time, and I'll tell you this. I have been silently telling a lot of electricians out there to go back and learn HVAC or some other trade to be able to add to your business. Now, the reason I say that is because over the years, I've advised electricians to not put all their eggs in one basket, to learn some other things. And if you have the ability to learn and get licensed, example, in another trade like HVAC, you don't have to go out there and fight everybody to put in HVAC units. You're an electrician. But there is a huge market at just doing replacements, just replacing the indoor air handler, just replacing the outdoor air conditioning unit, okay? Learning how to charge a unit and repair leaking units and just do the service part, not having to do all the duct work in the building. Leave that to your traditional HVAC, but adding additional services to your business. This is a perfect time, folks, to sit down with a piece of paper and go, okay, I'm an electrician. What other services can I develop that I can promote that spreads out my risk over the next year and a half before I decide to jump in full time and be my own boss? Okay, well, I want to see if I want to add ancillary services. Maybe I want to add generator service. Maybe I want to add something else, okay? This is the perfect time to do that. You have a year, about a year, in this year period where you're going to see a major uptick in the need for infrastructure repair. Okay? There is big money. Take Texas. I can promise you in Texas that my outside air conditioning unit was brand new when I bought that house in 2014. Okay? The house wasn't new. The air conditioning wasn't but a couple years old. But the damn things in Texas don't last but a couple years due to the heat. It's like that everywhere. I had paid more in having it serviced, right, than it was for the new unit that was put in. Now, again, I had a train and I must have got a dud. But again, at the end of the day, the guys that came out to do the little knick-knack stuff, it cost me more than a new unit. And they had nothing invested but to come out and repair things. Dude, there is big also in service. I had one electrical contractor ask me, he says, look, I just do new construction and all this stuff. I don't have a service division. And my response to that was, why? And they go, well, I don't have the people. I have to keep them busy with the new construction and stuff like that. That is the wrong mentality. You can find an electrician out there and hire that electrician to do nothing but run that service part for you. Give them a vested interest, share in the wealth, make them feel like they're invested in it, okay? Give them bonuses where they need to, share in the profits from their service work. Let them grow that for you under your umbrella, and now you have service work. Look, don't nobody shy away from service work. I'm telling you right damn now, I got an electrician that called me over the weekend, and we were talking, and he does service work. He does new construction, but he does service work. And I asked him, I said, so how much money does your service work bring in? He said, my service work brings in more than my new construction work. And I said, that's impossible. He said, no, it's because the new construction work is, I get paid at a draw at the beginning and I get at the end. He said, my service work, I get paid right up front, immediately. And I said, well, okay, well, what's the average cost of your service call? He said, my service calls are averaging $400 to $600 a pop. And I'm like, okay, are you gouging customers? He goes, no, that's my industry, what it is around my area. There's nothing wrong with you being priced and getting paid for what you do, okay? They got to have it done anyway. So look, there is so much freaking opportunity. If I were to go back into the trade today and go out and turn the tools, and I know I don't need funny comments from you asses, but if I did that, I would not go chasing the new construction. Although we know it's going to be booming, but for me, because I don't want to fight the bidding and all that, I would just do service work. And I would charge for and if I would promote myself as a CMECP because I deserve more because I am better. That's the mentality that I would have. And some people say, well, that's cocky. You need to be humble. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Sharks eat tuna. Okay? I'm just saying, no. You toot your own horn because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. And there ain't no shame in that game. You put in the time, you gain the knowledge, you know you're better than the average person. Hell, all of you here know you're better. So what do? You toot it, you work it. It's business. Wow. I am jacked up today. I don't know what the hell was in that coffee. My wife made my coffee. I don't know what the hell she put in there. Dude, I feel like I'm going to blow up. Anyway, I'm excited because I think that all of you out there, and I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your success, dude. I want to hear people send me emails next 5 years saying, Paul, I am blowing it up because I want you to succeed. I really do. I don't care. People can say that's cliche all they want. They're full of crap. I literally love getting the emails from you folks when you succeed. I do. It's one of those things that just always, I can't help it. What's up? Humid. It's humid here in Virginia as well, but it's not supposed to be as hot today. It's only going to get up to like 83 today. What's up, Manny? Welcome. Glad to have you here, my friend. Let's see if I can catch up to some of these things. Mr. Yingling is in the house. CMECP working in Philly. Philly today. You have my condolences, my friend. Working in Philly. What is up, Adam? Good morning. Everything is good. Everything is good. I woke up this morning very blessed to be here, and it's a great thing. Let's see here. Good morning, Paul. Code nerds out there. Hey, Paul, on your Saturday webinar, the homework you gave me told us us an email address. What was that address you wanted it? Just send it to our support, SUPPORT, at fasttracksystem.com. Support at fasttracksystem.com. Okay. Or you could put your answers. You could go to paulabernathy.com and put your answers in that form as well. Either way. And we have also on all of our websites, we usually have a contact us button. So if you hit it, contact us, it'll give you a form that you can fill out and do that. So many ways you can do it. But I love it because we did the webinar and I asked people to do homework. I gave them a picture on the screen so that they can go through the exercise. Now, I'm going to give you a little something. We are planning another webinar here very shortly. It'll be on our website, so go check in the next couple of days. We're going to do another webinar, okay? So again, I'm not going to tell you the topic. It'll be posted there, but we're going to be doing another webinar, and it will be recorded, and it will be available exclusive to all of you that have Fast Tracks Tube. It won't be on YouTube. It won't be anywhere else. Exclusive for you on Fast Tracks Tube, except it probably will be over on Fast Track System for purchase standalone. But again, that's the benefit of having Fast Tracks Tube for 99 bucks. That's a no-brainer, dude. You get 8-hour calculation video. I've got feeder tap videos. I've got range calculations, single-family dwelling calculations, both optional and standard. Dude, there's so much over there. And if you say, Paul, I've watched them all, why should I continue to subscribe? Because we slow drip new ones out all the time. And it is the best investment you're going to make. If you like videos and you get to wade through the BS over on YouTube, you go straight to videos that we know are going to be very educational over on the Fast Tracks Tube. That's the reason I created the platform. And that's why it's so popular. I think right now, I can't remember, Jeff would have to tell me, I think we have, believe it or not, over 3,000 subscribers over on Fast Tracks Tube in a matter of just a little over a year. That's freaking amazing considering we don't advertise it except for on our show. And I'm not in the search engines for the Fast Tracks Tube. So I think it's amazing. Let's see what else we got here. Good morning, Alberto V. Glad to have you here. And we're also going to be doing more exclusive things on the Tube, okay, as we kind of gear towards that method of teaching. What's up, Beto B? Welcome. Glad to have you here. Red Dog.
Woo, 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 woo.
Good morning.
Big
This is the
dog.
webinar. Trying to catch up on it. About an hour. Yep. Go over to Fast Tracks Tube. You can get it. Let's see here. Good morning, Adrian. Glad to have you here. Let me know where you are, where you're from. What's your thoughts on the topic today? And we'll go look at some statistics here in a second. Good morning, Jason. Let me know what you think the boom in your area is. Do you think it's going to be booming in your area? Do you see opportunity coming? Do you want to know a way? Do you want to know a way to stand out amongst the crowd in a very competitive market? Become a CMECP and then be vigorous in how you market it. Put the logo on everything. Your business cards, your vehicles, even if you just get the logo done in a magnet mount to add to your existing vehicle. You can get our logo. Ask us for it if you're a CMECP. We'll share you with a high definition logo. Get it made into, go to Vistaprint and get you a magnet mount. Promote it, promote it, promote it everywhere you go. Let's see here. What's up, Cameron? Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Good morning, Seattle, however it's pronounced. Let's see here. And Marlon says, is it necessary to trademark or copyright my company logo? If it is a very unique logo to you, then you have some type of protection the moment that you used it in the public domain, okay? So document when you started using it and all this kind of stuff. However, I will tell you, trademarks are easy, inexpensive, like less than $500 to get a trademark. And then once you get that trademark, it is even more powerful. I only recommend people get a trademark if something that you do is something that's easily copied by somebody else, right? So for example, Fast Tracks. I got Fast Tracks trademarked because, again, I can't stop somebody from using the term Fast Tracks like for a racetrack or something else. No, I mean, it's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But anybody out there that uses Fast Tracks, TRAX, or anything confusingly similar, and legal standings say that if somebody gets Fast, TRACK, and they use that, I have a grounds to sue them because if they do electrical exam prep or electrical training for electricians, then it is confusingly similar, and then I can go after them. And I don't have a problem. I got a lawyer that'll do that at the drop of a hat if I ask them to do it. Usually I'll send a cease and desist letter first because that's the courteous thing to do. But at the end of the day, unless you have some agreements in hand, that type of thing, then I don't necessarily think that everybody needs trademark. But again, there is use in commerce. So again, chances are if you can establish that you've been around longer than somebody else and they start using your logo or something like that, then you have grounds, even though you didn't get it trademarked. You still have that copyright protection, that type of stuff. Okay, so but trademarks there's nothing like getting that extra trademark. You know, it's just something that happens. Like we have it on the CMECP program. We have another thing that you can do is, for example, see this Electrify. I don't have that with an official trademark. But once I started using that in public and put the TM behind it, which is the intent that it's a trademark, then it has a little bit more protection than not doing it. That type of thing. So again, that's a personal choice, but it doesn't cost that much. And I have done all of my trademarks myself. I've never hired a lawyer for it. Okay, and my lawyers would do it, but it's so simple to do on U.S. patent and trademark. It's simple. So again, not necessary, but you know, there you go. What's up, Jason? The South is growing so fast, labor force cannot keep up. Yeah, it is freaking amazing what's going on. And people say, aren't we running out of room? No, because they'll knock a band building down and build another one. Or the infrastructure, people ask me all the time, does wire age and does wire wear out? Ask your wiring cable manufacturer this. Say, hey, can you give me a lifespan on wiring cable? You'll notice that they will not give you an answer. We don't give those kind of answers because if it's installed properly, okay, that's a big thing, then it should outlast you and me. So we're not going to give a lifespan. However, that's not the same for the insurance industry. That's not the same for people who have this conceived notion, for example, like aluminum being bad when it's not bad. But they have this conceived notion, and so they just want it changed. Okay, so I'm an electrician. I'll take your money. I'll change it. So again, I'm not complaining. But again, there is a lot of misconceptions out there. But what that means is it's going to keep churning change and infrastructure change and new construction and replacement of old things and fixing things. I will tell you, for a service side, if you're just a one man or one girl or two person shop and you're like, dude, I don't want to make life difficult. I want easy billing. I want everything to just run smooth. Every locality has aging homes. Every locality has aging commercial buildings that are going to need an electrician to come in. Whether they're doing change out, a new tenant comes in and one leaves, they want to change the luminaires, they want to do something, they need an electrician. It's money right there. Low-hanging fruit that every electrician should branch out into service part of it. Okay, that type of thing. And maybe you already are. Let's see here. What we got? Whoop, whoop, big dog.
Woo,
talking
woo,
about.
woo, woo. Big dog.
Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Good. I'm not the only one that thinks like this. Yep, there we go. Let's see here. Adam says, got one in the electrical field and the other in the solar field. Now the youngest Logan says he wants to be an electrician. Now I'm working on getting my master's license. You have got the idea down, Adam. Adam, let me use you for an example. You are already ahead of the curve, okay? Look, young people today, they can say they want to go to college. I went to college. Worst mistake. Not everybody. Let me rephrase this because people will jump on me. Worst mistake that I made because I didn't need an engineering degree. Not for what I wanted to do. I had no desire to go design systems. It wasn't required for me to be the engineer at the city of Richmond. It wasn't a requirement. I did it for me, okay? Biggest money waste, although it doesn't cost me as much as it cost you today to do what I did back 25, 30 years ago. But at the end of the day, I had a supportive wife that helped me. So I tried to juggle all these things, almost drives me insane. But I did it. Not necessary. Young people today, you want to make damn good money and be in high demand. Get your skill, learn a trade. And Adam, you're getting your kids in there early. They want to be, because they can always do something else. They can always go to school. But let me tell you about the trade. You can always go back to school. You may say, I can't, but you can. But if you learn the trade first, like I did, then you always have a trade to fall back on, and you'll always be able to feed your family because you're always going to be in demand. Learn a trade first, and then if you have aspirations to go on and do something else. You know, I know people that are coming out of college with degrees that are useless. They're not going to make a dime on them, but they just wanted that piece of paper. If that's you, that's fine. But for me, I'll give you my son. I'll give you a prime example. I had the opportunity to teach my son everything that he wanted to know about electricity. Okay. I could have taught him the code. I could have taught him everything because I was actively doing work as he was growing up. Service calls, new construction, everything like that. But hey, at the end of the day, he chose not to listen to dad. And so now he does pool construction, but he does not make the money that he could make. And he struggles. Learn a trade. Plumber, mechanical, HVAC, probably same as mechanical. Building, even roofing is big demand for that type of thing, right? Learn a trade. Learn something because you want something to fall back on, okay? And Adam's doing it the right way. And Adam's wanting to move forward with his career. Guys, if you're a journeyman out there and you say, I don't need to be a master or I don't need to be electrical contractor licensing and all that stuff, that's the wrong mentality. Over the next year, year and a half, your focus needs to be, let's say that I'm going to be in business a year from now or a year and a half from now. Just use that as your goal. What do I have to do to get from point A to point B? Increase my knowledge. Take more responsibility on projects if you're a journeyman. Take responsibility. Learn from other people that you see successful. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, okay? Get the education you need to be successful. Take the classes you need to take. Get the courses you need to take. Look into licensing. Look into insurances. Look into the vehicles you'll need. Look into the tools you'll need. You have got time in order to think about the end goal, okay? Those type of things. And if you get to that end goal and you still want to work for somebody else, that's okay too. But look at all the knowledge that you got, okay? Anyway, let's see here. AJ says, I hear you, Paul. However, we haven't seen an increase in construction prices and accommodate higher electrician wages. What impact do you think they'll have? I think that it's a supply and demand thing, AJ. I think when you say wages, it's all relevant, right? So the median income for an electrician in 2024 is about $62,000. People say, well, that's not a lot of money. That's a median income. So that takes into account that you have Alabama versus California versus up in New York area. It's all relevant to the cost of living in that area. We all think we're probably worth more than what the market will bear, but I can tell you that you control that destiny as your own boss, okay? And if your work is stellar and you promote yourself as better than the next guy, you'll get paid more. So again, as far as the market growth, I'm going to show you the statistics. But again, people say, I can't live on 62. I'm personally going to tell you, you can laugh all you want behind the scene. I could live on 62, okay? I don't live beyond my means, okay? Now, I make considerably more than 62, but I just put it in the bank. I don't need more than 62. Hell, I could probably live on 30,000, right? But I get it. It's not the same everywhere else. I don't owe anything, okay? That's not going to help you. But most incomes today are dual income, means that your wife and you or your significant other has money coming in that y'all pull together, right? But at the end of the day, if you're an electrician and you're just getting started and the median income is $62,000, you're doing pretty damn good, because I know people that graduate from college. I know some engineers that don't make $62,000 a year. I do. I know electrical inspectors that are making $40,000 a year, $35,000 a year. So again, wages are all, growth. A lot of this is also covered by whoever you work for, whether they're giving raises or not, whether it is all circular in how it does it, but they can't help but go up because of supply and demand, right? What's up, Frank? Good morning. Glad to have you here. Brandon, good morning. Down in Houston area. Brandon, glad to have you here. Good morning, Austin. What's up, Shameless? Good morning. Glad to see you here. Okay. Some would say you have to be shameless. Absolutely. Dude, I tell you what, over the years, I've gotten, you know what? It's so funny to me because I have people say you're arrogant and all this kind of stuff. And then you got a large amount of people that say, Paul, you talk to us like an electrician. You're certainly not arrogant. You don't talk down to us. No, I would never talk down to another electrician. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you grow. Why am I going to talk down to you? But then say, well, your answers on social media are arrogant. Well, because I get a shitload of stupid questions. And after a while, you're tired of answering stupid questions. And people say there is no stupid question. No. On social media, there is stupid questions. Okay? So, I mean, people do stuff because they don't take the extra time to get the knowledge to know that they're doing something that's stupid. Okay? But at the end of the day, people believe them like gospel. Right? We have people that follow people on social media and swear because they're an influencer that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And they ain't never done squat. Right? I mean, it's like the dumbass, what's his name over on Facebook, who I can't remember what his name is, who does a podcast with, shit, I can't even remember his name. That's why he's so not in my head. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he don't even own a Facebook page. He jumps from page to page and giving comments. Okay. And Willie Jackerson, they call him Willie, whatever his name is. What has he done for the industry? He just goes on Facebook and gives his opinion. Has he ever been on a committee? Has he ever served on the NEC code panels? Has he ever written a book? Has he ever even written a blog? What has he done? So I'm saying people think, ooh, he's an influencer. He's not. He hasn't done anything to influence anybody except for go online. And it's so easy for people to say, ooh. You have to look at the body of somebody's work, right? So at the end of the day, I don't get enamored by these influencers on social media that have 500, 600, 700,000 followers on, because I look at it and go, that's great. Anybody can look stellar for 3 minutes, but do it live. As Bill O'Reilly will say, do it live. F it. Do it live. Have y'all ever seen that clip of Bill O'Reilly? It's incredibly funny. Anyway, that's my thought on the process. Be you. Don't worry about anybody else. If you need to toot your own horn, you toot it. Don't. Shameless promotion. Because you're building your brand. You're building you. And if somebody calls you arrogant, tell them to piss off. Okay? It don't bother me. I'm just saying. In Texas, it ain't bragging if it's true. You are 100% right there. Okay? There's a difference between cockiness and confidence. And bragging is only an extension of your bravado. In other words, people brag, but typically the people that brag can back it up. Now, there is that collection of people that brag that ain't worth a crap. And again, you can't, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. I'm just saying. And you'll know whether or not that. There's just people that brag that really have nothing behind it. People say, Paul, you're bragging. No, I'm not bragging about anything because I have the goods to show it. I got Fast Track's Tube. I got Trade Hog, teaches people. I got programs on Fast Track System. We have trademarks on the program. I help people in the program. I answer code questions. We create videos. We do this live show. I answer emails. We got the Let's Ask Paul podcast. We got Mastery the NEC pod. I'm trying to work it. I write blogs all the time. They're available on our website. I put myself out there, okay? I'm not somebody who says, look at me, and then I sit back and do nothing. I serve on code panels, and you're the same way. You're in the local field. You're out there busting your butt every day. Don't be ashamed to tout it. Let people know. Put it on the side. Say that I'm the best electrician in the area, and then have that CMECP seal right there. Confidence. Okay, where was I at? Boy, I am jacked up today for some reason. What's up, Yan and Nikki? Hadn't seen you in a while. Thanks for following us. Well, let's see here. My wife put something in the coffee. There ain't no damn way she didn't. What's up, Angel? Glad to have you here. Alex. What's up? Okay, looks like my email is not going through. What's your email address? Support, SUPPORT at fasttracksystem.com, or you can use the contact us feature on any of our websites. Go to this website and use the contact us feature. Okay, that type of thing. Let's see. We do not seem to play nice with the MSNs and the Hotmail email addresses and the, what is the other one? The live, L-I-V-E ones. All of those MSN, we seem to have problems with that. They kind of look at it as spam. We're fine with Gmail and other ones. But again, some of those MSN ones, they may not make it through. So just be aware. I think it's the, there's another one out there. I can't remember what it is, but it's MSN based, that type of thing. Then we have problems with those. Okay. What's up, Chad? Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Manny, I think I have a video on that. 220.14i when it comes to dwelling units. Okay. And I'm assuming you're talking about receptacles. It's 3 VA per square foot is for receptacles. Okay, you don't use 180 VA. I think I have a blog on that or a video on that, if that's what you're talking about. So it has absolutely nothing to use. So the dwelling, I can put as many receptacles as I want on a branch circuit. And I can put as many lighting outlets. But again, with the lighting outlets, there's a specific load, wattage, that's going to limit what I can put on a circuit, right? But at the end of the day, if you're talking about the receptacles, there is nothing in the NEC that says I can't put 25 receptacles on a single branch circuit. You don't use 180 VA. Okay, it's based on 3 VA per square foot. And that's the driving factor for that. Okay, now, hopefully that, I don't know if that was what you're talking about. What's up, Angel? Good morning. I am doing great, my friend. I got to get into the lesson, folks, but I love it. Let's see here. What do we got here? Good morning, Paul. The videos on Master also can't find the podcast. I don't do anything on masterthenec.com. All that does is forward you to our main stuff. That's just a forwarding website. You should never be going on masterthenec.com once it gets you to our products. You always can go to fasttracksystem.com. Same with electricalcodeacademy.com, .net, or .org. All it's going to do is push you to right here. All it is an online marketing campaign. I use a bunch of emails, a bunch of URLs to funnel you into my products, into my site. Okay. So again, all that's extra stuff. Okay. That answers that. Let's see here. Robert says getting licensed to start business was the easy part. Keeping it going and changing with the environment is hard. But absolutely. Anybody can file the paperwork. Anybody can go and get a license and, pass your license, get everything. But again, that doesn't make the money come rolling in. So that's why I say over the next year, for those that are trying to get into business, you need to focus on where your market is. You need to focus on building those relationships before you're ready to pull the trigger. In other words, if you run into a contractor and say, hey, I'm thinking about going out on my own in the next year, would you support me? And they can only say yes or no. Say, look, is it a possibility that I can possibly get some of your business? Start building those relationships. Start making connections with other plumbers, mechanical guys in the industry. Take them for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Look up and find if you know a contractor, if you know a plumbing contractor and you're just doing electrical work for somebody and you ran into a plumber on a job site, maybe he owns his own company. You say, hey, you do a lot of work. Is it possible that I can get referrals from you if I decide to go into business? Look, it's all part of networking. You have to work it. Now, after you become licensed, does that mean the money's just going to come rolling in? No, that's the misconception. Okay, if you build it, they will come scenario. You've got to work it. You've got to always be hustling. That's why I tell you, you should never have a work vehicle that doesn't have lettering on it to promote your business. If you're driving around in a vehicle that does not promote your business, you are missing an opportunity. You are. If you're every time you go somewhere, if you're not giving out business cards, if you go to Lowe's, for example, and you don't take a business card and stick it in the window beside the lock in between the seal on every car that's around you within a couple cars, then you ain't hustling. You may say, that's cheesy, Paul. I don't want to do it. Then you ain't hungry enough. When I was in contracting, I was hungry. I actually stuck business cards inside of the boxes in luminaires and Lowe's and Home Depot. If I was there to get something, I would stick a couple cards in the luminaires. I would stick a couple cards in the ceiling fan. Why? Because I was hungry. Nobody said it's easy. But if you work it and you have the drive and dedication, yeah, maybe you don't want to do that and you're happy with working for somebody else. That's okay too. But you're going to be better if you spend the next year bettering yourself, making you more worthful. Even if you're not going to work for somebody, get your certifications, get extra training, start developing relationships, getting your name out there as the go-to person. It's a no-lose situation. You know what I'm saying? Got to do something. Okay? But yeah, you're absolutely right. It ain't just getting your license don't make it easy. You got to work for it. Okay? What's a CNC? It's a CMECP. Okay? It's CMECP, and it's only for master electricians. I'll just type it in here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? It's only for master electricians. So that type of thing. Let's see. Where are we at here? I'm sorry. Oops. Missed one here. Thomas says, I do not have an engineering PE, but I work with parallel with PEs. My purpose is to review constructability and code compliance of their designs. Absolutely. And that is almost like another industry. You don't need to be a PE. Look, I am not a PE. Okay? So when I was doing plan review, or I was overseeing the plan review department as an engineer for the city of Richmond, I was looking to see what the PEs did wrong and then help them get it right before. Okay? And so again, that piece of paper, being a PE, is only good if that's what you want to do. I had no desire to design systems like that. And when I did design them, I had a friend of mine that was a PE that I would just give him the design and he would stamp it after he looked it over. And he would come to me anyway to fix problems on his. So I formed a relationship and created a business back in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I don't know if y'all knew this. I had an electrical contracting business, but I also did consulting. And I would do design because I had that background. And then I had a friend engineer who would put their seal on. You're saying, wait, you can't do that. Yes, you could, because I was the draftsman. He was doing the approval and he looked it over and he took responsibility to that. But we had a relationship and I always helped him out. So again, you can work many things, okay? It's so many opportunities in this trade. I know one guy I told you that is doing amazingly well on what's called flip-ups or upgrades for real estate agents. So what he did was he contacted all the real estate agents in the area, put together a great package, and when somebody's selling a home, an older home, they freshen it up. He'll come in and replace all the devices, all the cover plates. He'll go maybe to Decora, or he'll change the switches, or maybe he'll put in the Ring, or he'll put in the Alexa stuff or whatever. He'll make it a smart home, but only smart because of devices, not because there's a Cat 5s running everywhere. He did the low-cost smart home approach, and he put this in a package and made it a no-brainer. So he didn't have to argue with the agents. He says, this is what I'm going to do for you. And it's based on this size house, square footage or less, and he built margins in there. And he's doing great with that. And real estate agents come to him all the time and say, look, we're trying to, we're going to have them repaint this house, but I need you to come in and change all the luminaires. I need you to come in and change all the receptacles, all the switches, okay? All that type of stuff. It's amazing. And he also contacts the home inspectors to be the resource to do the electrical upgrades if that's part of the negotiation. Dude, he made a business just in that. There's so many opportunities. Take the blinders off, folks. If you can do it, if you can create it, then you can do it. I'm just saying. What's up, Christopher? Yep, Thomas says, find your niche. Find out what you do best and exploit the hell out of it, okay? Toot your own horn. Stop. Look, guys, don't let anybody bear you down by saying you're arrogant, cocky, or whatever. Piss on them, okay? They don't matter. They're just trying to get a rise out of you. And if they think you're cocky, then that's their business. They're entitled to their opinion. You're confident. Stay focused. Achieve those goals. Don't worry about what somebody else says. Let it roll off your back, okay? What's up, Eddie? Eddie, work hard. Get those licenses, my friend. Futures depend on it. Next year, year and a half, you're going to see a boom in the industry everywhere, okay? Adam, and this is why I get up at 4 a.m. and watch your show at 5 a.m. Honest talk and the truth. Dude, I appreciate you. I think probably I'm one of the only electrical educators in the industry that don't worry about the effects of speaking their mind. Look, if you don't think I'm serious, go look at all the other educators and see if they say what's on their mind or they hide behind the fact that they're worried about their sales. I don't worry about that shit because I come to you as a real electrician. I got the cuts on my hand to prove it. Okay, you can Google me. You can go back and look. Go back in Virginia and look at companies. They got history of companies and corporations. You can see I've been doing this since what? I've been doing this since the mid-'80s. I've hustled. I've owned businesses. I've had failed businesses. I had successful businesses. Okay, I've worked at as an engineer for a city. I worked at a code supervisor for a city. I worked at NEMA. Over the years, I kept building on my knowledge. I was never happy, and you shouldn't be happy. I went on to go to Encore Wire and Prisium, and I'm director of their technical services. All technical stuff comes through me, and I make sure that we stay out of trouble, that we teach electricians how to use our products right. It's all building blocks. And all that time, I learned the NEC. I learned what to look for as an inspector. I looked for what I could look for as an installer. I owned a company. I know how to run companies. You can do the same thing. You're only here for a short amount of time. And then you're dead and you're rotting somewhere. I'm just saying. People say, well, it's just so exhausting. I'm so busy doing work that I don't want to learn. Wrong approach. Wrong approach. Don't matter how tired you are when you come home, you need to at least do an hour of code or an hour of something. And maybe you're watching these every morning. There you go. That's your effort because you care. Dude, I feel like I'm on a step stool today talking, but I mean, it's real. Okay. And I know I haven't even looked at statistics yet. Okay. Because I'm answering your questions. New York City minimum for a journeyman is $40 an hour, but $30 an hour if some other states probably is better than 40. Some are more. I'm going to look at the national average and you're going to see that the median is probably less an hour. It's still good money. Okay. And we're not going to get rich as an electrician. Okay. Just doing electrical work. You're not going to get rich. Let's face it. You're going to live well. You're going to pay your bills. And I had one goal really in life. Okay. One of my goals, my main goal was that I never wanted to, now listen to me, this is important. I had a goal. It wasn't to be rich. It wasn't to have this and that and this and things. My goal was to get to the point where I wake up in the morning and I owe nobody anything. I don't have to worry about where the next bill comes from. That was my pure goal when I got into business. When I was working for people, I had bills. My motivation was at some point in my life, I do not want to owe anybody anything. And I achieved that before I got 50 years old. Right? Hey, folks, I'm 56. That was only 6 years ago. Okay? So at the end of the day, you keep hustling, you keep building, and you keep working, and it just takes care of itself. But you have to stay positive. That's what I'm saying. Okay? But rates are different everywhere. What is this here? Frank says, Paul, you are the Dave Groggins. Is that Gogans of electrical? I don't know who that is, but I'm going to say that's it. Let's see. Shameless says, am I going to be at NECA this year? I am. Right now, I am going to be at NECA. It's in Chicago. If any of you are there, come and see me. And we'll go get lunch. Or we'll go get dinner. Okay? If there's a bunch of you, let's all come together, and I'll take you all out to dinner. I don't have a problem with that. Dude. Let's see here. Beto. Let's see here. Love the information. Do you need to be security bond before taking the exam? I don't think you need to have any kind of security bond before you take your exam because you're just getting licensed. If you want to be an electrical contractor, you have to have insurance, and they may have some type of requirement for a surety bond. But usually you can get those through a company that is very inexpensive. Okay, they're online, they're available. You can get bonds. That's usually not a big deal. It's not like it's a $200,000 or $500,000 bond that you're paying $500,000 because you're not. You're paying a percentage. Okay, it's kind of like a bail bondsman, if you will. You're pay a percentage and you'll get that surety bond. But again, I don't think you need that for licensing. But I don't know every state. But I would not think that you'd need that in order to take an exam. What's up, David? Let me go on and get to some statistics real quick, guys. I want to mention there's a lot of people commenting, but let's get into some statistics real quick. Hold on. We got to find out where they are. All right. So here is the labor statistics, by the way. And here you're going to see the median pay. Okay. This is average over the country is $62,000 $350 a year. Now, some of you say I couldn't live on that. That's because you're probably living beyond your means. I'm just being honest. But that is a good starting salary. That is a good median salary. And we know that some place in the country that's going to be much higher than that. That translates down to $29, basically what you said earlier, $30 an hour. That's not bad money. If you're saying, well, I make more than that, that is great. And again, this is median, okay? Median. The beautiful thing about electrical industry right here, high school diploma or equivalent can get you in it. You don't have to be a college grad, things like that to get you in it and get started. Work experience generally is none to get started, although many people go through apprenticeship programs. That's great. I went through the vocational school in my high school. Y'all have heard me tell you about the story of that. It changed my life. I was on a wrong path until I went through vocational school, and it totally changed me. You can do on-the-job training apprenticeship program. Look, number of jobs in 2023, electricians, 779,800. The outlook is going to be 11% increase. That is much faster than the average growth. Now you say, oh, it's 11%. Dude, I'm telling you, when they do these statistics, okay, they're conservative. Why are they conservative? Because this is a Bureau of Labor Statistics where the statistics can move. I'm telling you that micro, meeting with administration, what's going to happen in the next year, year and a half, I think it's going to be higher than 11% overall. But I think you're going to see a rapid growth in the next year and a half to 2 years that you need to position yourself for that growth. Do the little things. Get a trade. Learn a skill. Add to your knowledge base. Okay? Get a certification where you need to get it. Okay? Write down what you need to do, what insurances you need, learn what your state requires, do all the groundwork, create relationships. Okay? If you're shitty on the job, and you're like, everybody looks at you as the shitty guy on the job, it's time to change your mentality. It's time to change your approach. It may take time to repair what people perceive of you, but you can do it because now you need to be that guy that everybody goes, that's the guy. That's the guy. Change it. You say, well, I don't need to do anything. I remember, here's a funny story. When Electrician U, Dustin, came to me early on before he even got started, and I gave him some advice, and we wanted to collaborate, and we wanted to do some stuff together. I really didn't want to change what I wanted to do. So I gave him some advice. And one of the things I told him, I said, eventually, you're going to have to drop the F-bombs in all of your videos. He goes, I don't have to do anything. I do the contracts. I'm not going to change for anybody. Well, he changed because the stuff he does for corporate and stuff like that, he dropped the F-bombs for the most part. It doesn't have nearly as many as he used to. Why? Because you meet the demand. And I said, you have to appeal to more of your, electricians, we don't mind the F-bombs most of the time. But at the end of the day, it's who's going to be using your content and your growth of your company. So I said, eventually my advice to you is that you're going to have to drop those things, drop the F-bombs, and curve it a little bit in your delivery. And he's kind of moving more towards sales and promotion and sponsorships and all that. I don't call that selling out. I'm just thinking he's trying to make a living, and that's fine. But my point is you have to evolve, right? And he evolved into where he has a massive following. It's not the same following as mine because I don't teach you how to hook up a receptacle. I don't teach you how to run a conduit. I don't teach you all those things because to me, I don't watch those kind of videos, so I'm certainly not going to create those kind of videos. Mine is acquired taste. People get what they need. They get their license, and then they tend to move on. Now, there's some followers out there that are diehard, but at the end of the day, they use me for what you need, and then they move on. I hopefully will break that mold with the Fast Tracks tube because we do put out videos, and we're constantly adding new things and testing you because you need to constantly be challenged. Remember what I said about beaker of memory is like a beaker of water? As time goes on, you forget things or the water evaporates. And what do you have to do? You have to refill the beaker with knowledge. That's what we try to do here. We're trying to refill the beaker with knowledge because people forget things. And we want to remind you of these things. And you constantly have to keep learning, okay? Anyway, so 11% growth from 2023 to 2033, you got to remember that this type of stuff changes fluidly. And what you're seeing now with the new administration, with the new outlook, with the AI booming, the power consumption booming, everything happening, it's going to be greater. In my opinion, we'll revisit this in a year and see whether or not it's still at 11% or they change that. Because I think you're going to see a hell of a boom. And I'm telling you this because I'm looking at the statistics of infrastructure sales when it comes to wire, cable, medium voltage, high voltage, all that type of stuff. I'm looking at these numbers and I'm looking at it saying we've got a growth coming. And so does Mike Rowe. He feels the same way based on his conversations with other people. It's coming. We need to get people in the trade. You need to talk to people. If you have a kid, don't push them to college. Let that be their decision. But say, you know what? You can get a trade. If you have a vocational school in your area that the high school kids can go into, if you've got a son who doesn't know what they want to do, or daughter who doesn't know what they want to do, look, if they don't think they're going to go to college, or if their grades are fairly low, or you feel like they're struggling or they just make it, now it's time to plant that seed. Get them into vocational school, maybe in 11th and 12th grade in high school. Get them a trade. If they still want to go to college, they can. But get them a trade. That way they at least can come out and go to work and make some money and provide for themselves so they doesn't have to suck off the mom and daddy's teat for the next 5 years, okay? Ask me how I know that. All right, so anyway, let's get back to so here you go. So employment change, they're looking at 84,000 new electricians coming on between 2023 and 33, okay? That's a lot of electricians, folks, okay? So you've got to be able to fill that need. Now, let's talk about pay. So here you see the pay here on the right. You see the electricians, the typical, again, this is median. And again, this is May of 2024. Okay, so this is data that is prior to what's going on right now in the administration and what's changing rapidly. Okay, so again, this is fluid. It's not updated. This is May of last year. Electricians, 62. Construction workers, 56. Total all occupations, about 49. Again, median. Okay, it adjusts back and forth depending on where you're at. Okay, so look at here. The lowest 10% earn 39. The highest 10% earn 106. And I guarantee you there's many more of you out there that are doing way better than that. And if you're in business for yourself and you know how to work the system and you work it, you promote yourself, you toot your own horn, you can make a lot more than that. Dude, I know electricians personally that are making $500,000 a year. And they're not even their own boss. They're working for somebody because they are that good. Okay? That good. All right? All right, let's see here. Let me go. All right, so that's that. And let's see what else. The job outlook. Okay? So here's that 11% job outlook. And remember the data here. This is all based on information that they had during 2024. Okay? So, and maybe even back, this is 2023 is when they started the data outlook, right? There is plenty of opportunity, openings, okay? Supply and demand, folks, right there. 779,000, projected employments, 864, that's projected. What I'm telling you now is that what I see in the growth, that is not even close. I think it's going to be higher than 11%. I'm going to say it's probably going to be more closer to 16, 17, or 18%. Okay. But there's your data. It's all available for free on bls.gov. You can go look for yourself. I'm not making this information up. It's all right there. Okay. States, you have the different states data. You can go look at it and look at the different state information. I'm not going to click that because it's going to get too convoluted in here. So a summary of all this, again, that's the median income. You're probably making that or much more than that. Okay. It depends on where you're at in the country. Okay. But again, if you're somewhere in the country that's making less than that, then probably the cost of living is less in that area. Okay. So I'm saying today, it's over when people start blue collar where people used to look down on that and say, you need a college degree. If you want to go to college and do something, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a professor, you want to be, that's great. I love it. Okay. I, as a dad, would have supported that. But also remember, we need the trades. And it's also, there are a lot of people that I know that come out of school that are looking for a job that are willing to take anything, and they're making hardly nothing. Okay. Friends of mine that came out of the vocational school that went into the trade immediately and started making money. Those friends of mine that came out of high school that did not, they continued to live with their parents for years. Okay. When I got out of high school, I went right into an apartment. I was 18 years old. I didn't live with my mom and dad. I got out because I was working. I was doing electrical, and I made enough money that paid my bills. So at the end of the day, we see so many, and that's probably the generation that we see on TikTok, social media, that have million rings in their face. And I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying that they come on there and they want to get government handouts. So they want some assistance. They're not bettering themselves. Teach the next generation to get out there and work for it. Electrical work is hard work. You guys that do that every day, there ain't nothing easy about electrical work. Nothing easy about it. Crawl spaces, digging trenches. Yeah, you can work smarter than harder using proper equipment, right? Because sometimes we don't use the proper equipment. But at the end of the day, work smarter, not harder. Take advantage of technology. Do what you can to make your life as easy as possible, but you still have to get out there and grind it and do the work. Share that work ethic with a younger person, okay? Somebody that's maybe struggling. I used to speak a lot at vocational schools. I don't do it anymore after COVID, but I used to travel around and speak at vocational schools, speaking to the young people, and I would tell them they want to goof around. When I was in vocational school, I didn't goof around, okay? I had a mentor, Bob Barrett, who mentored me, took me under his wing while everybody else goofed off. I didn't goof off. And you say, oh, Paul, you're too serious. Dude, I knew at 18, 17, actually 16, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Not everybody does that, but I knew. And so I took summer classes. Y'all have seen it. You can go to my LinkedIn and you can actually see certificates when I was doing code classes at night when I was 16 years old, 17 years old. I knew what I wanted to do. Not everybody does. But don't be afraid to encourage younger people who look like they're struggling. Tell them to get a trade. My son didn't listen to me, so I am obviously not a strong motivator. But I will take the opportunity to tell you that maybe you are a strong motivator. And you can motivate the next generation. You see somebody who, and you're never too old, by the way. You see somebody that's working somewhere and they ask you, you're an electrician, and they see you and they look up to you and you're a hustler. I tell every electrician, I never wear ripped up jeans. I never look like a scrub. That's just me. I always wore, when I was in the job, I always wore shirts with my company name on it. I paid what I needed to do it. Okay. I always wore work boots, everything that looked nice. I spent the money to look the part. I'm not telling you you have to. I'm just saying I did. I spent money because I took pride in being an electrician. In fact, y'all have heard me say this. I don't care whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a politician. I don't look at you as being above me. I look at you as being equal to me. I'm an electrician. I take pride in it, okay? So at the end of the day, you should take pride in it. So carry yourself the same way. Don't look like a scrub. Carry your company. Keep your van clean. Make it look good. Letter up your van. Go to Paul and get some printing done or whatever. Signage, whatever. Look the part. Carry yourself the part. Don't go to job sites cussing like a sailor. Don't go bashing the company you work for. Don't go there dragging your feet and looking like a scrub. If you're a smoker, don't smoke on the job site. I know you're saying, Paul, no, that's a little extreme. I'm just saying it's all about image. And today, it only takes one thing for somebody to form a bad impression of you. And then you have to spend the rest of your experience with them trying to change that impression. You can change it, but you got to work hard at it. So why not set the tone up front? I'm just saying. These are just things I'm giving you as advice, okay? Just say Uncle Paul is giving you some advice, and that's all. right? I know you all can be successful. I know you all can, all right? Here's what Paul says. He's been in business for 32 years now. Paid my dues. Absolutely you have. I've taken care of my customers, and now I am the preferred person to go to for signage and printing in my area and beyond. Absolutely, Paul. And you don't mind telling people you are the preferred vendor. You are the best of the best in your area. Does that make you cocky? Nope. That makes you confident. Why? Because you paid your dues, right? That's what I'm saying, folks. Ignore all of the flutter around you. Get a mindset of what you want to achieve. And over this next year, plot out how you want to change your life. If you work for somebody and you want to be your own boss, or you want a side hustle, just doing like service work that doesn't conflict with what you may do in your day job, find out what licenses you need, find out what certifications you need, find out what insurance you need, find out what minimum vehicle you got to have to make sure that you have one that will work for it. Do everything, start building those relationships, and build you that side hustle, which may turn into your full-time hustle. Again, I have one critical advice that I tell everybody out there when they talk about their job, where they're at, where they want to be their own boss. I tell people, never quit a job unless you have something else in your back pocket. Okay? What does that mean? If I'm working as an electrician for a company and I'm ticked off because I feel like I'm not being treated well, then on your own time, you need to be bettering yourself. Find another company. Don't be ashamed to talk to them. There's nothing wrong with you talking to other companies, and make sure you tout your worth. Don't fake your worth. Don't mislead your work. Tout your work because you're confident and say, this is what I can bring to the table. This is what I can bring to you. Because that's what an employer wants to know. It's not what they can do for you. Never lead off by saying, what are you going to pay me? That's my advice to people when they come in my door when I was hiring. Never come in and say what you're going to pay me. It's basically what you can do for me, and I'm going to reward you generously for that effort. Okay? So you have to build that worth. Don't come in there saying, first question out your mouth, what's the starting pay? Wrong approach. Okay? Because ultimately, you'll make the decision when it gets to that money level. You know what you're making now. So if you're not happy and you want to go somewhere else, but don't quit your job to do that. Do what's needed in the background. Take a day off of work. Go to apply for other jobs if that's what you need. There's other jobs out there. Or if you're saying, I don't want to do that. I want to be my own boss in a year and a half because I see what's going on. Okay. Don't poach work from your current employer. It's not right. That's just not right. Okay. Now, what you do is start figuring out how you can build your business as a side hustle so that when it's time for you to pull that trigger, you're ready to do it. Now, that doesn't mean you do side hustle illegally. Do work without permits and all that kind of stuff. Not what Uncle Paul's saying. Paul's saying you can still, even though you do side hustles, you can still get your license, right? You can still get your insurances. It's cheap online today. I saw it online the other day where electrician get company insurance for like $39 a month. That should not be your hurdle, okay? Continue to do what you need. So you can actually do side hustle and have your own business on the side. It doesn't mean you have to leave another company, right? Now, I would advise you to let them know the company you're working for, what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that type of thing. Yeah, I love that one. Tom says right here, when anybody says, I always had an employee that says, pay me more and I'll do more work for you. I will fire that person. That is not, hey guys, that is not the shit that you need to say to an employer. And the other one that I've let people go for is that I can't see it from my house. I don't need an employee like that. Okay. We have to change the mindset. Electricians have to go to the job and treat it with pride. Yeah, you might have a rough day. Get your shirts. Look the part. And everybody else in the company that may be a scrub, a company you work for, maybe they don't care. You should care. Look the part. Come to work. They're going to call you brown noser. Okay. They're going to call you teacher's pet. Yeah, I heard all that, especially when I was in high school. I heard that almost every day. There's Paul the brown noser. There's Paul the teacher's pet. Me, I was focused. That's why me and my instructor connected and formed a relationship. I knew where I wanted to be. So in my job, I always look the part. When you see a doctor, they look the part. When you see a lawyer, they look the part. I look the part. Nice shirts. It can be t-shirts as long as my name's on it, my logo's on the back. Okay, nice pants, nice blue jeans, not wholly blue jeans. I used to deal with khakis a lot. Okay, those work pants, khaki work pants, nice boots. I looked the part because I took pride in it. If you're the only one in your company that does that, you're going to get more money. You're going to stand out. And then when you go to job sites, you go out of your way to please the customer. Kiss their ass. People say, I ain't got to kiss nobody's ass. Yes, you do. Because you work for the people. Right? That doesn't mean that you're always that you're always right, and that they're always wrong, or the customer's always right. No, I professionally can let them know they're wrong, but I do it professionally. That's why we have a course that we used to have a course out there that basically was how you deal with customers on job sites. Okay. And so at the end of the day, there's so many things. Feel free to ask me advice on all that stuff. I used to go to companies and speak to the companies and all their employees about things like that. I haven't done it since COVID. Point of the fact is, be proud that you're an electrician. You earned it. If you're an apprentice or a helper, earn that credit. Put your dues in there. Pave the way. And then spread the wealth to the other people. Okay? All right, that's enough of that. You've seen the statistics. It's booming. I personally think it's better than 11% growth. I think it'll be more than 84,000 over the next couple of years or 10 years. I think with the AI, I think with the infrastructures, the changes, all of that, it's going to be much higher than that. Let's pray I'm right. But the numbers that I look at, which is called Construct Connect, really show me that I believe that this is what's going to happen. Let's do some giveaways real quick because, again, I've been talking. Hopefully you got something out of today's episode. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Bless your heart. But let's go on and do some giveaways real quick. Let's see. We're behind the scenes on TikTok, by the way. Come on over here and do #win, and you can get in on the spin. Drawings, the electrician rules slate. Angel Santos, you are in the drawing for those. Oh, and by the way, all of you that sent your information from last week's drawing, I did get it. I haven't responded to all of them, but if you send it to winner@fasttracksystem.com, I would just let you know I acknowledge that I did get them. So don't worry, I got your information, and we're going to get this sifted out now, and that'll be taken care of. Much quicker than it was before, but we got everything, okay? All right, let's do this again. Let's do another one. Again, that's what the slate looks like, and it's engraved. Just a little, it's deep, it's etched into it. So again, it's slate. We have other ones here as well. Here's the ohms wheel. See that? You always want to leave it untreated. David A., you are in the drawing for the 2023 Enhanced course. Congratulations on that. A drawing is again right here, September 30th, roundabout that time, or at least the drawings will end on that date. So again, no code today. I just took a little break on a Monday to get you pumped up and realize that the future's in your hands. It's going to be amazing. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I've been doing it for a long time. Looking at market trends, talking to electricians, talking to construction folks, looking at wire sales, looking at everything. It's coming, guys. Young people, get on this bandwagon. It's a guaranteed income. It really is, because they're going to need you out there. And the better you are, the more you're going to get. I'm just saying, there's a basic helper, and then there's that helper that rises to the top. Okay, now this is just scrolling by like this, so I got to do this again. I need it to lock on somebody. Sorry. Rob, beautiful, beautiful. That means, you know what? That means the world to me, Rob, because again, there's maybe many of you out there that have been on the fence. Greg Converse. You're in the drawing for the ultimate. Again, you only go around this rock once, guys. Sitting by. Have any of you just sat and realized that this is 2025 and it's already July, end of July? Life's not slowing down. Stop making excuses. Raise your game. Change your appearance as far as how people perceive you. Okay? Start looking the part. Start saying doctors, lawyers, all of them are no better than me. Ain't none of them better than me. Okay? None of them better than me. You're a damn electrician. Okay? You're what keep the lights on, right? That mentality, that's what you got to have. Okay? All right, let's do it again. Electricians, don't look at engineers and think they're better than you. They know how to design systems, but they don't understand the code. They don't understand installation like you do. They're your peers, okay? Just because they hold that piece of paper, well, guess what? Your license is a piece of paper that establishes your life's total wealth. It means what you've learned over time, not just in a 4-year period, but encompasses your dedication to the industry, okay? In many programs, you got to put 5 years in, 4 years in order to be able to sit for your license. Dude, you put in your work, okay? You put in the time. Don't let anybody talk down to you and what you've earned. As I tell people, you're a damn electrician. Proud of it, okay? Now let's see here. What do you got? Beto is in the drawing for a 2023 G&B course. All right, folks, that's the giveaways for today. Again, I went a little longer than normal. As always, I said I was going to try to keep it to an hour, and you know I can't. I don't know. I can't. But anyway, I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate all of you coming and joining the shows. Let's see here. We got Dutch says, I went from being an electrician to being an electrical designer. I work side by side with guys with electrical engineering degrees with zero debt because I learned the trade and got my license. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Hutch. That is what I'm talking about, right? In my mind, you would never convince me that this isn't the freaking best trade because I can do anything. I can be an electrical designer that works with engineers. I can be a service electrician, residential only electrician, commercial electrician, industrial electrician. I can do service work only. I can do specialized stuff like upgrades. I talked to you earlier. So many things I can do in this trade. Share the love with others and get them into this trade. We need the workers, but make sure they learn the right way with good programs like our program at fasttracksystem.com, and stop spreading false information. Be a part of the mission. Spread the truth. Make sure you do your due diligence. Don't just believe anything you see on social media, because that is a cancer on our knowledge base. Things that people put out there that is not validated. Be careful, folks. And then when you become a master electrician, you can be somebody like Jason right here, or David. You can become a CMECP. Raise your game. Again, how you use that CMECP is up to you. How you toot your own horn is totally up to you, but you know what? You earned it, okay? All right, till next time, folks, stay safe, God bless, and we'll catch you on tomorrow's episode of Coffee Hour, which we're going to get back into the code, by the way, so make sure you bookmark whatever platform you're watching, and if you want to watch our motors video and you're a member of Fast Tracks Tube, go over to Fast Tracks Tube and watch that video. Till next time, stay safe, God bless.